What's up, guys? Appreciate y'all hanging in there. Sorry it's been so long since we posted the episode up. This one's just going to be me kind of recapping what happened in Phoenix. I know the last episode we were headed out there. Things have been hectic with training, and I work 2 jobs, to support the fam. So we hadn't had time to really shoot an episode or slow down, but now I finally got some time, and we're just going to recap what happened out in Phoenix. So first off, Phoenix is really, really beautiful place. Man, I was having thoughts about moving out there. I said it would be pretty awesome to live there. But even though it was hot, it was like 100 degrees, and it would be like that hot at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. So that was a little bit different. But man, once you get used to that heat, it was really nice place to be. And then the facility where they had the EYBL Session 2, man, it was really nice place, awesome courts, the atmosphere was awesome. So let's get into some of the basketball. And this was an interesting trip because we're trying to qualify for Peach Jam, and only the top 20 teams qualify for Peach Jam. If you don't know what Peach Jam is, that is like the nationals for the Nike EYBL circuit. And so the Indy Heat were trying to qualify for that. It looks like the 15U is going to be the only squad that makes it because our 16U hasn't been doing so hot, and the 17U, although they had a really good weekend this past weekend in Dallas, they are a long shot to even make it to Peach Jam. I think they would have to win all their games, and even then they're going to need some help from other teams to sneak in there. So it looks like we're going to be the only ones to make it. As of right now, I believe we're in 9th place out of the top 20. So we're in good shape to make it. We got one more session coming up in Memphis, and that's going to be on May 28th, which Memorial Day weekend. So I'm not going to be able to go out there. Justin's going to run that solo with just his team. And I didn't get a lot of footage from Phoenix because they had a new policy that you had to have credentials to bring in a camera. And some of this stuff can be shot by phone, but I don't know. I don't really like it with the phone. It's better with the Canon camera that I used, which is actually Justin's camera, but I just use that. But let's jump into Phoenix. So we had the first game was against, I believe that was against Drive Nation, which is a team from Houston, and they had some decent players. But this is about Justin's journey, right? And so in that game, I think he took 4 shots. It was pathetic, basically. And I got on the phone with him after the game, and it's not just about him taking shots, but it's about his aggression and being aggressive. And I felt he wasn't being aggressive, and his coaches felt he wasn't being aggressive also. And so after the game, I called him, and we got into it. And when I say we got into it, that doesn't mean that he was talking back to me. It's mostly me talking and him listening. And I let him know that he was just on some BS. He wasn't doing anything. He basically letting his team down. The dude is shooting 50% on the EYBL from threes, which is really good. He shoots a high percentage, but he's real selective with his shots. And so I thought that he needs to get more attempts. It'll only help the team. And if you ever watch Justin play, very rarely does he take bad shots. You might get 1 or 2 every couple of games, but he's real selective in the shots he wants to take because he is a team player. Although I do believe he's the best shooter on this team, he's a team player. He doesn't want to, just jack him up for the sake of jacking him up. We know that's not how you're going to get recognized and get your opportunity, which all these guys on this team are playing to make it, hopefully become Division I players. I believe all 9 of our guys could play at the Division I level at some point. Some guys high majors, some guys would be mid majors, and some low majors, but they're all Division I players in my opinion. And that's just at the age of 15. So that first game, I really lit into Justin a little bit, and it was so bad that he actually unfollowed me on Instagram, which is super crazy. Like, I'm laughing right now because I didn't know until he followed me back But I put him with an ultimatum. I said, hey man, you need to take 10 shots, you need to grab 10 rebounds, or you need to take 3 charges in the next game. And that's a shout out to his teammate, Tristan Comer. Tristan does a really good job of taking charges. I think during Phoenix, this is a crazy stat. So he attempted to take 13 charges. We played 5 games. He attempted to take 13 charges and he got the charge call on 10 of those 13. The other 3, he got called for a blocking foul, which is just amazing, man. That's an awesome stat, and it really helped the team. So, and I was proud of Justin because in our last game, he actually took a charge, although I don't think he meant to, but he did take a charge. But getting back, so that Drive Nation game was a wash. Next, we played Team Griffin, and in that game, he really showed up. I think he took 11 attempts. He only made 3 out of the 11, but at least he was trying to get them up there, okay? And they weren't all 3s too, so that sparked it. And then we had our next game. Actually, we only played 4 games, I believe. I'll have to go back and double check that. But so that was Drive Nation and Team Griffin. And then the next day, we played against Team CP3, which they have a really nice player. His name is Ashton Pierce. I'm not sure if he's ranked in the ESPN top 25, but he's high up there on the rankings. And so in CP3, I believe they're at the top of our standings. I don't know the record, but they're one of the top 3 teams in the EYBL. So we played all 3 of the top 3 teams for 15U. CP3 is the team we beat. Team Takeover, they were the team that beat us our first game by 20. And then we played Expressions, and they beat us pretty handily by about 30 points at the end of this Phoenix championship. So I'll get to that in a little bit. But against Team Griffin, Justin played a lot better, just aggressive, making plays. Against Team CP3, he played really well. And I think he went 4 or 5 from 3 that game, which really helped his numbers. And we got the win, which was big for us to beat CP3. That put us, pretty much put us in good place to make it to the Peach Jam at the end of the season. So once we beat Team CP3, we went on to play Expressions Elite, which Expressions they're a pretty tough team. They had a kid that went 10 for 10 in that game, didn't miss a shot. I know they were tired by the time we got to that last game. So Expressions put it on us pretty bad, but again, Justin played pretty well. He was about 4 for 5 or 4 for 6 from 3 in that game. And we didn't play well as a squad. Our defense was pretty porous, and that's why we got beat. But overall, I thought it was a really good start. Guys started playing a lot better in Phoenix, and they're starting to get the roles down. So that's all part of the journey of playing on the EYBL circuit. And I'm planning in the next episode, we're going to interview some of the guys from the team. Like, these guys are all really good players, where they're from. Some are from our area or a little near our area. And Justin's becoming friends with some of them, and I'm becoming friends with their parents. So I'm actually going to try to recruit some of them to our high school. We'll see what happens, but they're pretty much going to be the man at their school. So I won't blame them if they don't want to leave. But that was Phoenix. It was a cool experience to be out there, and kind of seeing players is kind of regular. Quick tidbit. The EYBL sells merch, which is really cool. And then I just found out there's a secondary market for it. So you can go on eBay. If you see these things, how much they're priced, you could probably buy it at the EYBL store for half of what they're selling it for. So if it comes to your town, your city, I would suggest you go and check out the games, and then you can buy some merch, all right? Second part of this update here, I want to talk about, we played in a big tournament here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was called the Bill Hensley Run and Slam, which is a big time tournament. You get a lot of teams. We were the only EYBL team that came, but a lot of teams from Under Armour were there, and then the Adidas, was it SSB, Three Stripes League. So the top teams from there were there. Indiana Elite did not show up. They were scheduled to play, but they didn't come for the 2026. They didn't come. And then the Under Armour team, 2026 or 15U, they did come, and we met them in the championship. I'll get to that here in a moment. But for this tournament, this was supposed to be our tournament, and our first game, Justin did not show up. So again, he turned down a lot of shots, and this is all about his journey of becoming an elite player. So that's what we're trying to get to. So he turned down a lot of shots, and again, I lit into him. I'm like, why are we still having the same problem? I think he got it, but he was a little slow with pulling the trigger in the next game. And that game was interesting because we were up by 20, and then we dropped the lead, and then it ended up losing by 3. And so the way this tournament was set up, you had a platinum bracket, a gold bracket, and a silver bracket. So and a bronze bracket. So there were 4 teams in the pool. You played every team once. The top team, whoever wins the pool, they go to platinum. Second team goes to gold. Third team goes to silver, and the fourth team goes to bronze. And so we're favored to win this tournament. We're the only EYBL team in the tournament. And you know, I've seen this. Everybody shows up to our games. They all come to watch. They want to see what the hype is. On top of that, when you have these players that are ranked in their state, which every one of our guys is ranked in their state, these kids know and they want to beat you. And so I don't think our guys understood that concept, and they kind of just played. They got up by 20. It was easy. And then they kind of took their foot off the gas, a little bit of selfish play. The other team took the lead, and then Justin was in there last second. He had a last second 3. I don't think the play was designed for him, but he wound up with the ball and he just missed a 3. And so we won our first game. We lost the second game. Everybody was shocked. And then the third game was very interesting. So we had to play Fred VanVleet's team, and we had to beat them by a big number. Okay, I think the number was like 28. We had to win the game by 28 points. Our boys came out ready to play. Indy Heat, they smashed them. We won by 40 or so. 30 something. I can't remember the score. I don't have this stuff in front of me, guys. I'm sorry. I know it's a podcast, but I'm just doing this on the fly. I got some free time, so I'm going all off of memory. And so we beat them. And while that game was happening, the team that beat us was playing against the team that we beat in the first game. So we needed the team that we beat in the first game to beat them, because we covered the number that we needed to. All they had to do was win. And so I wasn't sure how the game was going to go. We're keeping an eye on it. Our game finishes first because there's a mercy rule. We were up by so much, they called the game. And so there's still 6 minutes left in the other game. It's the court right next to ours. So everybody is like, we're on the court while the other team is about to get into their warm-ups. We're on the court watching the other team play. And it went down into overtime, and the team we needed to win, I think it's called Nova Village from Ohio. They were missing their free throws, and I was like, yeah, it's not meant to be. I don't think it's gonna happen for us. But they pulled it out. And so with that win, it was so weird. It sent the other team to the gold bracket. It sent us to the platinum bracket, which is what we were there for. We were there to win it. And so we go to the platinum bracket, and it's basically a chance of redemption on Sunday. So our first game, we play against the Indy Heat Northwest, which is a bunch of really good kids. Some of them could play on our team, you know, if there was enough room. Like they're a tough squad, and so I knew that game wasn't going to be a cakewalk at all, and we thugged through that. Interesting, we lost Marcus Johnson. Marcus is basically he's top point guard in the nation. He's ranked ESPN number 16, I believe. So he's a really good player, but he's having a foot issue, so he couldn't play that game. And so we kind of had to get adjusted to playing without our starting point guard, which, you know, it takes a little bit of time. That's a big role. He has the ball a lot because he makes good decisions, and the guys kind of had to get used to playing that way. So Justin did okay that game. I think he made a couple threes and some layups, but it was basically a team win, and we got that win. And so now we get out of the first round, and we're into the semifinal. And we play against a team called the Illinois Wolves. Now, I had saw them play before. They played against Edmond Sumner, which Edmond Sumner is a EYBL team. They're really good too. But they had a tournament the week before because they did not go to Phoenix. There was another tournament that they played in. So the Illinois Wolves played against the Edmond Summer team, and they only lost to them by 5. So I said, there's got to be something about this Illinois Wolves team, and they can shoot it. And so I was talking with the coaches. I let them know, hey, these guys can shoot. I watched them on tape, and he's like, thanks for the head up. Lucky for us, they probably had the worst shooting performance that they've ever had. And their sets were so good, but they could not buy a basket. They missed everything. So, and then on top of that, shout out to EJ Hazlitt, kid on our team. EJ, man, he shot the lights out. He played really good. And then Justin got his groove, and he was playing good. He played a little bit of point, which was awesome. But the interesting thing about this tournament was we played against Justin's old team, which was Grand Park Premier. That was the Under Armour team. They were playing on the court right next to us, and we knew it was going to be a matchup in the finals if we both got there, which we should both get there. We're the 2 best teams in this tournament, and so that matchup was looming, and we're blowing the Illinois Wolves out, and I'm watching the other court for Grand Park, and they pulled it out, and so we got the championship game. Of course, Justin knows it's personal. He tells his teammates, like, hey, I used to play on this team. I don't want to lose to these guys. And shout out to his teammates because they came through, man. Everybody played well. And Justin had an excellent game. I think he had 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Made some really big shots. And it's always good to beat your friends. He has a teammate from high school. Shout out to Baron Walker. Plays on his team, and then he used to play with some of these guys, so it was good. Plus there's 2 Carmel kids that he's rivals with, and Noblesville, where we're from, and Carmel, we do not like Carmel. All right, nothing personal, but it's personal. So he got the win. I'm showing some pictures here, some video of that game. That was an excellent game, and a big confidence booster for Justin. I think he's going to be starting here. Next week, we're going to Memphis, and that's going to be the last session. That's going to be the qualifier. So we have to perform. We have to show up big to make it to the Peach Jam in Memphis. So just a little recap. This video is getting kind of long, so hope you guys are following up. You can watch the games on NikeEYBL.com. All you got to do is find the schedule, and then it'll show you where to go for the live stream. So we got a little tune-up coming this weekend. We're going to be in Fort Wayne again, but we're only playing on Saturday. We're not going to play the actual tournament. So I'll recap that, and then the next episode, I'm going to have a little interview with some of his teammates, and then I'll also drop an episode coming up here for people that are interested on how you make these teams or play on these circuits. I'm going to give you guys a little insight in just what you need to do and how you can make it there. All right, so appreciate you guys watching. As always, like the video, subscribe if you want to see more, leave a comment if you want. It can be negative, it can be positive, I don't care. All right, all right, appreciate you guys, and it's all love. Peace.